So this VTuber just dropped a bombshell admission, claiming that photos that she sent to other people and distributed, who mind you believed she was an adult at the time, which would later be leaked and shared on the internet, which by her own admission as of today were technically illegal material. Now why would she say that? Well, because as she now admits, she lied about her age to the people she sent it to and was actually a minor when those images were created and shared by her. Now, she might have posted this thinking it would scare off her haters by pointing out that they have CSAM now on their computers and have shared it possibly on the internet, but I think she either completely overlooked or doesn't care just how bad this makes her look. The VTuber in question is Elfinpsyop, and honestly, this level of craziness is exactly what she's known for. If you've been aware of her for a while like I have, then you would realize that this behavior kind of tracks with her entire online persona. She's built her image on this kind of zero filter and zero boundaries sort of mindset. If you're used to the polished corporate world of Hololive or Niji-sanji, Elfin is the polar opposite. You can sort of think of her as like an anti-idol type of VTuber. Her content is raw, uncomfortable, and often deeply chaotic. Now, I'm not going to go into an overview of her entire career online as a VTuber, because some videos already exist, which cover it better than I can here. I will say she has a history of weaponizing her own messy personality to deflect criticism, and has a history of building her image on being unhinged, edgy, and very unfiltered, to a degree that I've been very vocal that I'm not a fan of, but I digress. So with that background out of the way and you knowing who Elfinpsyop is, let's take a look at where she confesses to misleading others about her age, sending them nude photos of herself as a minor, and then brags that all of her haters have been basically leaking CSAM. So I'm not going to read the entire tweet to you because it's on screen, but what you can take away from it is that she started VTubing at 17, and during this period of time she would send images to multiple people. These being the nude and sexual photos that I just mentioned, which unknown to the people she was sending this to, because she admits that she was lying about her age online, to the point where she would fabricate details about her life, such as when she went on 4chan for the first time. Now, as she says in the replies here, she didn't think people were going to leak these images, but that's not really an excuse, because she was essentially lying to the people she was being sexual with and sending them images which could easily land them in prison. And she's very callous about the fact that she doesn't care. Now, of course, she is a victim in the sense that they released these images without her consent, which is pretty awful, because it's never okay to leak private images like that, especially to the public. However, that being said, two things can be true at the same time. She can be a victim of revenge porn by being both reckless and seemingly malicious, and the fact that she sent these images to others, and after the fact allowed them to leak it and basically keep it in possession, knowing it was illegal material. Which I do want to point out, a lot of sites like 4chan and others, which are publicly accessible by Google, now actually are hosting CSAM because of what she did. And while I can kind of understand why she has no remorse for the people who leaked and distributed these images, it rubs me incredibly the wrong way that she's basically calling them silly little pedophiles when they didn't even know she was a minor at the time. Which I don't think that's what the word means, but I digress. Now, I'm sure for many of her longtime followers, which unfortunately includes a lot of people that I follow, this reckless behavior isn't exactly new. In a video by Rima Evansar, which you should check out, she has a repeated history of blurring the boundaries with her fans and orbiters, but she often uses her age or mental state as a shield whenever someone criticizes the behavior that she sort of exhibited online. However, I don't think that's a valid excuse in those instances, nor do I think that's a very valid excuse here. While she's pulling the gotcha card on her haters here for distributing CSAM, it's kind of an Uno reverse card situation because she was the one who produced and shared it to them in the first place without them knowing her real age. Like, of course the leakers are in the wrong, revenge porn is pretty disgusting, but as I said earlier, two things can be true at once. I wouldn't call the leakers victims per se, but in a way she kind of entrapped them into basically distributing CSAM, which I can't help but be like, what the fuck? And if you want to make the argument that she never forced them to post it, here's a tweet where she's basically baiting somebody to share the images themselves, knowing that they were in fact CSAM. That in its own right is pretty morally fucked up in my opinion, which coupled with a lot of her behavior in the past, doesn't exactly paint the best picture of her character. And I really can't imagine the headspace that goes into admitting this on Twitter, which I'm pretty sure Twitch, YouTube, and Instagram aren't exactly fond of people admitting to distributing CSAM on their public account, and that's even if she did so off platform. In a way, it's a good thing that she admitted that the images were CSAM, but now there's a lot of liability on her illegally, depending on where she's at, and showing herself to be someone that lies and manipulates others, and is willing to say anything or do anything that would get back at her quote-unquote haters. I find it pretty goddamn gross, honestly. I did not want my video back to be discussing this, but I wanted to talk about it because it's pretty fucking insane. I guess in the end, Elfin might technically be right that her haters are spreading illegal material, and she was a victim of this, of course. But to prove that point, she had to admit to distributing CSAM herself first to people who are not knowing recipients of such material, which I'm pretty sure is illegal in a lot of places, including the United Kingdom, where I'm pretty sure she resides. Like, she may have owned the haters, I guess, by being like, hi, you now have CSAM on your computer, but I don't think this is the gotcha moment that she really thinks it is. It just seems like a massive self-report on her own character, which could lead to a deplatforming or making herself a massive criminal liability, who knows. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I found this to be pretty repugnant, and I just wanted to talk about it because it was on my mind and I didn't see a ton of people talking about it, so I thought it'd be worth talking about. Hopefully I won't leave to get milk too long this time, and we'll actually continue to produce videos, which is one of my New Year's resolutions. I guess like with this situation, we're gonna have to see, but yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace out.